Hello and welcome back for episode 12 of our Let's Play. So I was looking at the space stations, that Mun one that we have to do a space station around Mun. You need to have 6,000 units of fuel, which is a lot. It's like 5 of the large Rockomax tanks. And I really don't feel like doing that, because I really have no use for having 6,000 units of fuel in orbit around Mun. If anything, I would do that if it was Minmus maybe. Just because you can use Minmus as a pit stop before you actually escape Kerbin. That's why. But yeah, so that seems stupid to me. And the other side of that, I also don't have good enough parts right now to do space stations. I mean, I could, but there's certain things I want before I actually start wasting money just trying to put up space stations. And that thing would take a bunch of launches, so I just don't want to deal with that. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to go to Minmus and we're going to drop an orbit so we can get this quest completed. And we're also going to do obviously a landing so that we can get this. Now, technically, I only picked this up for one reason, and that's the advance and, well, technically the reward. But the rocket we're going to take costs 120 grand, so it is going to get paid for. But I figured while I'm there, I might as well grab this guy too, just to make sure I cover the cost of the rocket and also make a profit on top of it. And the reason it costs 120 grand is because it looks like this, which we'll ignore the bottom bit for now. That's just the launcher to get to orbit. But you can see I got a lander tucked away in a fairing up here. And this guy here it's going to be kind of like an Apollo style, where we're going to burn, this guy's going to burn to Minmus and do the break at Minmus, drop into orbit. Lander's going to pop off and he's going to go do multiple landings, and then when he needs to, he can come back up and actually dock and refuel and then go back down. And the way the DVs work out, I can essentially do probably 9 landings for sure. I mean, we'll see how the numbers run or whatever, but I can definitely do 9. I might be able to squeeze some more in there, but that'll be able to get, I don't even know if there's actually 9 biomes on Minmus. I might check into that. But it'll give us like tons, and basically we can literally science the absolute shit out of Minmus and get all of the landing biomes, and should be a shit ton of science when we're finally done. Now this episode may run long, and I may actually have to break it into 2 parts because we are going to be doing quite a lengthy mission doing this, and at a pretty lengthy explanation again, so we're just going to hit the key points. So the launchers are typical asparagus, and then it's also got a mainsail engine because we needed a lot of extra thrust weight ratio to get this much fuel up into orbit. And that middle guy, the temporary space station, has about 3,200 DV. It's going to need 1,200 to get to Minmus, so that leaves it about 2,000 that the lander can use when it refuels to do all of its landings. And the lander itself has about 1,200, so it should be able to do 3 to 4 hops before it actually has to come back up and refuel. And then you can also see we have parachutes on both the temporary space station and the lander. So we are going to be recovering both those. Now the lander itself will pick up a heat shield before it goes back that'll be stored on the space station until it's ready. However, the station itself will not have a heat shield, so it will not be able to come back on a free return and hit the atmosphere at 3,200. It's just too fast, too hot. So I am going to have to save a bit of fuel so it can actually do a break when it gets back to Kerbin to get it back down safe. But we will be recovering the entire thing. And the only other thing I need to really cover is that the station itself will actually, because it's automated, it'll lose comms when it's on the backside of Minmus, but that shouldn't really matter because the burn we need to get back to Kerbin is facing Kerbin, so the only time I actually really need to have control of that space station will have a communication link. Right, one more thing I should mention, which I've been using them all along, but I never have actually got around to showing them, is action groups, which are these guys here. Now, first stage, you only can set action groups for basically all those buttons that are on your HUD, which is kind of annoying, but you can usually get by because, like, for instance, this thing doesn't need brakes, so that's a free one. The abort one you can definitely use if you just like get rid of the abort part of it. But anyway, I could have programmed the solar panels, but I'm just going to click them out manually, and the reason why is basically I went to the lander here. And you can see I actually programmed that when I hit the brake key, it's actually going to take essentially all of our science experiments except for EVA and surface sample. Those two we'll still have to do on our own, but essentially now I can hit one key and it's going to take a barometer, a goo, a thermostat, the observation bay, and a crew report. And it's just going to save me a ton of clicking around. So yeah, action groups are awesome. They're really good, and all you really have to do to, like, if I was to click on, for instance, if I wanted the brakes to open these solar panels, I would just open this, click on the solar panels, you can see they're blue now, and then I would just move this toggle solar panels over here, and now whenever I hit that key, it'll actually toggle those solar panels. I obviously don't want that, but yeah, so that's action groups, and action groups are really useful. So we're now going to go launch. And I also technically forgot Bob, so we now have Bob with us. Alrighty, we are on the launch pad. I am slightly nervous because I've done a lot of number crunching and tests and everything else, but it's still the first time actually doing the entire mission, so hopefully the design phase and engineers did their job, because unless something absolutely catastrophic happens, we're gonna just run this guy live. So launching in 3, 2, 1, fire! One thing I am going to do soon too is I'm going to actually, there's a website where you can plot out basically the most efficient times to launch towards the different planets around Kerbin, or well, around the sun technically. But I'm going to basically plot out all the different planets and find when the next most efficient window is coming up, and use Kerbal Alarm Clock to essentially plot all those different windows so that we actually have timers for when I need to start looking at possibly launching something to another planet. And I'm also really glad that we unlocked the mainsail engine, because you'll see once this thing actually gets up to height, or well, when it gets down to just that engine, even at almost full throttle, it's only running about a 1.3 thrust to weight ratio, because we're just pushing so much fuel up into orbit that we just need a ton of horsepower. So I'm really glad that we bought those. However, technically that mainsail engine, I think it costs 13,000. And I'm not paying attention to my reticule. Yeah, it costs about 13,000, which is really expensive to be just thrown away. Because if you remember, the rocket cost 127,000. So you're saying basically 13 of that 127 is just that mainsail. Like, that thing is expensive, and we're literally just going to be ditching it to the fire gods, which is kind of unfortunate, but that's part of trying to get really heavy shit up to orbit. Alrighty, so we are at a 7540 orbit finally. I have an insane amount of extra delta V. However, we are going to ditch our fairing, and we are going to ditch that 300 delta V, which is kind of sad, but I want that thing to burn up and not stay up here. Although if a guy got really ambitious, he could actually leave it in orbit and come grab it and take it back down, but I'm not doing that. And we basically just deployed our solar panels, and I explained that the test part attached to the lander is actually a decoupler. So after our first landing, we're just going to kick it off and not carry it around. However, this is post-commentary me. I'm going to tell you that's not actually going to happen because I'm going to forget. And then I basically also just explained that the mono tanks on the sides that are clipped halfway in are actually drained to half because we don't need a lot of propellant at all. And we're going to skip back to plotting the trajectory, which, if this goes the way I think it's going to go, is going to be a bit interesting. You can see Minmus is really badly positioned right now. So basically, if I wanted to do a plane change so that I could do a proper trajectory at him, because I'd be kind of going, well, I'd probably put it about there. So yeah, I'd be kind of going like this. It would require a plane change, and I just don't want to waste the fuel doing that. So what I'm going to actually do, and actually Mun's definitely in the way there. We are going to add a maneuver. And basically I'm going to launch at it at the apoaps here. And you'll see some pretty crazy shit starts happening. Except I have way too much delta V right now. I need like 900. Where were you? Cool. So basically I want to launch at it while it goes past this plane. However, Mun is in the way. So my original plan was to basically, because Minmus is still quite a ways away from the plane here, I was basically going to launch out and actually go past where Minmus is and float out here and then come back. And when we came back, we would actually intercept Minmus, because essentially that kind of loop out there would buy us time to allow Minmus to catch up. However, Mun is in the way. So I thought of a different plan. I'm actually going to just push us past where I kind of want to be doing my burn. Cool. Now I have 28 minutes to figure this out. And the reason I need time to figure this out is because basically what we're going to be doing is we're actually going to use Mun to our advantage. Bingo. Cool. We're going to do this. Now you can see the return trajectory completely disappeared, and the reason for that is basically we're going to go past Mun, and it's going to give us basically a curve. Like, it's technically we kind of would have went this way, but because we're going past Mun, it's kind of like curving us a bit. And because we're also gaining velocity from swiping past it and kind of slingshotting around it, we actually, normally it takes 930 delta V to get to Minmus. We actually reduced that to almost 900 because we're kind of almost slingshotting Mun or stealing from Mun. And then up here you can see we actually have, basically this game can only predict one encounter, and then you have to get into Mun's SOI before it'll basically show the second encounter. However, because this just like lops off, that's telling us that we are actually going to intersect with Minmus. So this is we're going to go a bit crazy, and this is actually going to be our trajectory towards Mun now, or towards Minmus. Now, the reason I'm doing it this way is because it's going to save us a bunch of delta V. It's going to save us doing a plane change, which is 250, and it's also going to save us about 30 here. So that's like almost 300 delta V that it's saving us. However, that does come at a cost, and that cost is, you can see our Minmus encounter is until 14 days. Normally it only takes about 6 days, 5 days, 5 to 7 days to get to Minmus, but because Minmus is way back here and we want to do our burn here, instead of me just like time warping and letting Minmus just like come over, I'm gonna basically just fling out there, and we're just gonna kind of hang out and get dropped down to probably like 50 meters a second, and then hit Minmus as it like basically catches up and goes past. And yeah, it'll spice things up and make things a little more interesting. And technically, we'll get a flyby of Mun at the same time. So that's cool. And we're going to do a little bit of time warpy, just because it's a long trip around. And then catch back up mid-burn. You gonna come up, son? You gonna come up? Come up? Come on! Come on! Boo. Gonna have to go to the map screen soon. Burn's getting close. No sunrise for us. So because I don't know what my parry is going to be at the Minmus encounter, basically all we want to do here is get this burn to, well, get the encounter. And then we have to wait until we're in Mun's SOI before we'll be able to, basically at Mun, this Mun PE, I'm going to do a correction burn that will, oh, that's getting really close. we go too far? Oh, we went too far. Shit. Whoopsie daisy. Such is the risk of doing slingshots. To be very precise. Cool. So we got our encounter, and we got our trajectory. We're gonna sling. And what I was saying is we're gonna do, once we get into the Mun SOI here, I'm gonna plot a burn at the PE that will basically set our Minmus PE. However, for now, bit of the thumbs up. Yeah, you would, you jackass. Cool. Yeah, I think we're just, at this point we just gotta wait till we get to Mun. Which is kind of funny, because this is a Minmus mission. Alright, so we are in the Mun's SOI finally. Which you can see here. And you can see it's now plotted our Minmus trajectory, which we are way off course. So we need to do two things. One, we need to plot this maneuver. So we'll do that first. We want to hit on this side. You can see the ball is Minmus escape. So that means you come in from this side. And just like how everything on Kerbin is orbiting east, we want to be coming in on this side so that when we do our break, we're orbiting east. However, I need to get this guy closer. Cool. So you can see our course correction is going to put our PE basically right on the equator, and also at 10 kilometers altitude, and that's so that when I do my break, I'm actually going to put a little bit of a tweak on it so that we actually straighten out, go into an equilateral orbit, because I want that orbiting station to be kind of equilateral. And you can see it's only going to cost us 4 meters a second to do this correction, which is ridiculously cheap and awesome. However, one thing I did also want to do while we're out here, let's go to the light side of the craft, is I'm actually going to hit the, we're technically in Mun high space, so I'm going to check. Normally these observation bays have leftover science. Aha! So you can see there's still 10 science here, so we're going to keep that, and we're also going to keep, or check the goo. So you can see the goo's got another 4.6. Good old Bobby is going to do an EVA. He's going to collect that, restore that, collect that, restore that. Try an EVA for shits and giggles, nothing. Store. And, cool. So we actually, by doing a Mun flyby, we not only got extra saved fuel, but we also got a little smidgen of extra science too. So, yay. Just pause it here. One thing I am actually going to do, I'm going to turn off all these engines. Because these outside engines were pretty much just here so that we had a decent thrust to weight ratio at Kerbin. But we're nowhere near that, and I'm also going to turn this guy down to 10? Sure. We'll go with 10. Because I only have a 4.5 meter a second burn, so I would rather not overdo this, and these things are going to be really sensitive if I fire all these engines. So you can see we went from a 400 thrust to weight ratio down to 20, so that's going to be far less volatile. Well, that was not perfect, but we can fix this. So, we just need to burn a little bit this way. Oh, oh, ow. 10-7. Sounds good to me. And we're actually pretty damn close to the equator. That's cool. I should be able to flatten that out when I do my break burn. Calvins. So, thank you, Mun. I appreciate the assist. Now it is time to basically carry on the rest of our way. Because our Minmus encounter is 14 days away. That's a lot of time. Okay, so you can see here we're starting to get actually really close. We've gone past our apoaps, so we're just like hovering out here at really low speed, basically waiting for Minmus to catch up over here. Which you can basically see that it's doing. And we finally have SOI. So, now we just need to get to our PE and get orbit capture. Uh, 11 by 10 seems pretty good. Except we want to flatten this guy out a bit. Because I believe most of the biomes are kind of in. I should be able to get most of them kind of flying around in this part, but there is also the poles, but I'll be able to get to those by doing a landing and then taking off in that direction. Those ones are going to cost quite a bit of fuel. So we might save those to last. Anyway. Whatever, good enough. We're at a 12 by 9. Which is fine. Because we are going up. So when we get to apoaps, I'll just push that PE up a bit. Which is 10 minutes out. So we're just going to work there. Cool! Well, we have arrived. We are at a 12 by 12 orbit. And we still have 2100 delta V, which is awesome. So, at this point, I pretty much might as well just ditch. We might as well just pop the lander here. And begin the fun of trying to land on a whole bunch of different stuff. Do a quick save. I need to pop this decoupler. Wow, here goes nothing. You'll see I actually flipped the decoupler around so that it actually stays with the lander here. Mainly because I needed to have a docking port there. Because that is our heat shield to get us home safe. We're actually going to dock with that and take it with us when we go back for re-entry. However, I do not want it while we land, so for now, it's just going to stay up here. And we need to plot some sort of landing. What are we going to go for here? It's actually probably best if I hit this hill. And then we can go down into the flats. Yeah, that seems like a good idea. What is this? Yes, pop that, sure. Gauge the engines. And guess I might as well get this mission underway. So we're gonna take and yeah, we're gonna land on this, and then we'll probably go down into those flats over there. Because I'm hoping this is Highlands, and I'm hoping it'll cost less Delta V because it's really high up. I'd rather land on this from orbit than try to jump to it from the plains. I don't know how much thrust these engines have, but let's get our landing gear out. And let's do a test run. Okay, that drops off pretty quick, so we can go a little more suicidal here, I think. Can't believe this is Midlands. So basically I'm gonna wait till we are, I don't know, let's say 800 meters maybe? And then I'm gonna blast the engines here to slow down. And you can see, we've actually busted out the spark engines. Because Minmus has a ridiculously low gravity, and you can abuse the crap out of that by having really low thrust engines. So we are 500 meters up. Still have quite a bit of lateral, so let's kill that. And she's gonna swing. What's our horizontal speed? So yeah, you can see our horizontal speed is basically nothing right now. That entire speed is actually our vertical. We are 300. Oh, you need to get flat. Oh shit. Oh, that was not good. Okay, so I don't know if you noticed that, but basically this thing, because this rock is so high up, it actually didn't switch to surface landing mode. Oh, that was so bad. So I was actually looking at the orbital numbers, not my surface drop numbers. That's why that was going funny. Wow, that's not cool at all. However, we are 20 meters from impact. And a little bouncy bounce. Wow. Lots of bouncy bounce. This is the problem with Minmus. It is just a ridiculously low gravity. And these things actually have quite a bit of spring to them. And we are on a really big slope. Oh well. Cool. First landing. Almost horrible, but it was a success. So, now in theory, I should be able to just hit B. And we should be able to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 experiments. So all we're missing is EVA. And apparently I can take a surface sample from here. However, this is the very first ever Minmus landing. So I think we need to plant a flag in occasion for this monumental moment. And you can see how ridiculously low the gravity is by how far I flew on that hop there. In fact, you can actually get these guys. Oh no! Oh, missed the crap! Oh shit! Whoops! Oh, that was not good. Yeah, what I was gonna say is you can actually get these guys to orbital velocity. Because it's only 120 something, 140 something. So they will actually, with their jetpacks, can get orbit. So now that we almost wrecked the lander, let's plant a flag. First steps on Minmus. Bob's a selfish bastard. Yeah, I totally forgot that this was actually the first time anyone stepped foot here. I totally would have gave that honor to Jeb. But, too late now. Shit. Oh, why do you have to be just, like, that much too high? Grab. And board. So we should have 7, 8, 9. Oh, wait. Oh, god damn it. Durr. I need to actually collect. Wait, did that not? Or did that automatically store some of that stuff? Oh, I'm really confused now. Seven, that's not enough. It should be 9, because we took 2 readings at the Mun. Huh. So for some reason the thermometer and the barometer do not appear to have run. God. Grrr. Why have you forsaken me, stuff? Anyway, kind of want to get off this thing now. So we're going to bring up this guy. God, can't even see that. Whatever. We're gonna jump off and go down there. Which means we want to go to the 90. Which would be this way. You can see, like, I barely even lit up the engines, and these are sparks, and it's still just, like, leaped up into the air. Like, it's really easy to get around on Minmus. So we're gonna burn a little more here, so we actually get a bit of a jump going. And we'll kill it there. Because that should get us whatever these flats are, and then we'll see. This will probably either be lowlands or slopes. However, now we have our trajectory, we just need to wait till we get over there. So oh, there's slopes. Oh man. Oh, should I waste the fuel and try and land there? Oh, we're back to lowlands. Oh man. Slopes is going to be a hard one to get. Because that was telling me it was basically that, which I'm not landing on that. Yeah, well, I'll have to just hope we find a better spot to get that. Yeah, we'll make sure this is on surface this time. Oh, and apparently I'm too low for time warp. Oh, this is gonna take forever. Yes, I get it. There's like no gravity here. Could you just do me a favor and touch down already? That'd be really swell. Okay, so we're gonna pay a little more attention to what happens here. So we're gonna hit the B key. So we got material study, Crew report. Goo. Apparently another goo. Apparently another material study. Yeah. That did not run these. Interesting. And oddly annoying. Nom 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 nom. We're just gonna basically eat up collect all the science here in fast forward because it's boring. So basically in each biome we can get 7 experiments, and we technically picked up those 2 months, so we're running a +2 on all our numbers for science here. However, that takes care of the lesser flats. So now I need to. Wow, these things are a lot bigger than I thought. We are going to go over here because I feel like it. And we're just going to post commentary this because we have 9 landings to do, and that's a lot, and it's going to take a ton of film. So, basically I just did a little hop, and I ended up having to give it a little extra gas because we weren't quite traveling far enough to actually break the transition zone into the lowlands here. But it wasn't a big deal. It was just a tiny little puff, and yeah, then we basically just came back down over a ridiculously long period of time. This lander actually landed a lot softer this time, so it didn't bounce like crazy. But then we just did the old typical science collectoroo, and now it's time to figure out where to go next. Alright, so we have done 3 biomes now, and we still have 600 fuel left. However, I'm not too sure where the next potential biome we need is. And that's gonna be the big question. Is this seriously not gonna show me anything? God, why is that so white? Although, I'm gonna go down a limb and say this is highlands, and this squiggly line is probably slopes. So, we want to get over here-ish. Which that's going to be, okay, so we want to get up there. Is that pretty much on a 90? It's pretty close. Well, it's going to be really interesting. We're going to quick save. And we're going to launch 90. And we're just going to time warp it again because it's because I'm so low I can't use time warp, so I had to run this real time, and it took a long time in real time. However, our first trajectory that we actually set there was going to fall a bit short of where I wanted to land, so I ended up having to give it a little more gas down and forward just to ensure that we actually got to where we needed to get to. And right about there, right about here, I think, I was finally able to use time warp again. However, we're going to cut back to real time because of this happened. Oh my god. So I just flew over the slopes, and it was a really hard burn, and we're pretty high up, and I don't really like doing that, but the slopes is going to be a real pain in the ass to get, so I'm love to just kind of get it out of the way with. Because this actually doesn't look too bad. Man, that did that crap to me again. Man, I really need to watch that shit. So in the interest of time, we're just going to fast forward again, because this entire mission took about 5 hours real time, so I'm having to condense that by a lot. However, I was just yammering on about how, because we're going to be landing on such a wicked slope, I want to come down really, really slow, and I actually got it down to about 2 when I finally came down. So, back to real time. Okay, stick it, stick it, stick it, stay there, stay, stay. Oh, okay. Whew, we're good. You can see we are on a really big angle though, so we just need to do our science and get the crap out of here. So at this point, it's pretty much the same old song and dance of me just gathering all the science. I don't know why I stopped using the macro. I mean, even though it didn't take the temp and the barometer, I could have just like hit it and then just took those two, but for some reason I decided to just keep taking them. However, we're on a really bad slope, so you can see there I just turned off SAS and actually straightened this out so that we could take off. Cool. So we have all the science from slopes now. Is that actually highlands up here? Can we see better yet? Not really. There definitely seems to be something up here though. I don't know if that's Midlands, but... So I basically just launched off the slopes here on a 90 again to try and get myself up into that, whatever that black was on the biome map. However, we're going to do a little bit of a cutaroo here because it took me a while to actually fly over to it, and this is also leading to the first cock up of the mission, so we're actually going to have to reload back to that slope launch again. However, I will let it play out because it's kind of hilarious how bad I screw it up. So we're going to jump back to real time here. Yeah, we're definitely in the dark stuff. And that is apparently counting as Midlands. Crap. Crappity crap crap crap. Where is our retro? If that's the case, there is no point me landing here, and we are getting low on fuel, so since I have velocity already, I'm actually going to just go for orbit here. However, we need some more altitude. Oh shit, we want to be on the 90. Oh no! Crap. Oh, that went way too high. Oh my god, we launched way the wrong way. So... shit. I'm gonna reload that quick save. So the general idea with these is if you're trying to get up to something in orbit and rendezvous with it, is same deal as when we did a rescue. We want to bring him around so that when we launch, we're actually nice and close to him. And then we're going to be launching basically almost on a 90 here, but what I'm trying to do is basically, I want to get my AP to the same height that he's at, so his 12k orbit, and I also want to ensure that we actually intersect his orbit line there, so we can do a correction, which basically just matching our Apple app's height here, and then now we should be able to do our correction. So we're going to correct our plane, and then hopefully jump up into orbit, and then hopefully talk with that guy, and then refuel, and then go do it all again. Actually, I don't want that screen. I need to watch this. Ooh, that went quick. Alright. Colbanes, we are at 0 degrees. Now, we just need to get into orbit. And we're going back to fast forward because basically we had a really well-timed launch and we're actually fairly close to him, that when I started to plot the orbit burn just to get into orbit, I was getting all kinds of 5-kilometer intercepts popping up, which basically meant that just by matching his orbit, we were going to be fairly close to him. So I spent a whole bunch of time trying to basically tweak those so that we would have an intercept plotted that I wouldn't have to, after this burn, we could just wait it out and have our intercept. However, you can see after I did the burn, we kind of lost most of those intercepts, and the only one that was left was right in front of us. So I just fast forwarded it so we passed it. And then from here is when I actually started to tweak that intercept down. Let's maybe just bust out the RCS for a second here. So that separation will be 4 kilometers, 3.8 kilometers, 3.2, 2, 1. Oh, alright, cool. So we will be 700 meters, and then we will be 100 meters from him. Over here. So, we still got lots of fuel left. What's RCS? We still got lots of RCS. So we're actually looking good. We should be able to dock here and refuel, and then go try and find some more science. And with a little bit of time warping and video warping, we basically just rotated around, and because I had already had a nice, beautiful 100-meter intercept plotted, we really didn't have to do anything at all. I just had to wait, because we were basically headed directly at him, and until we were 100 meters away from him, I really don't need to do anything at all. So I just basically, well, I got nice and close, and then I did watch the target reticule, and if it started to drift at all, I would just kind of give it little RCS nudges just to keep us, because we do want to get that 100 down to 0, obviously, but it required very, very, very minimal corrections. And you can see here we're finally starting to get close. I brought it in at a really low speed. That's why I'm kind of speeding up this footage, because it took quite a while. I didn't want to screw up, so. Anyway, we are finally at our ship, and it is time to dock and refuel. We are ready for docking, I do believe. We are in complete orbit lock with them right now. And I've set that docking port as target so that it's actually targeting that guy now, not just the vessel. And let's maybe slow that back a bit. When you're doing actual docking ports instead of the claw, it's way easier because you can see the... I'm flinging it all over the place here, but you can see the target reticule. As long as I keep that basically square, it'll pretty much just do its thing. And magnets have kicked in. At this point, I'm going to turn SAS off because, yeah, there we go. Basically, SAS was fighting kind of the magnets of the whole thing. And then we're going to turn it back on so this thing stops rotating. Cool. So we are now docked with our mothership, and we can begin refueling our tanks. That was weird. I could have swore it was the control key to do the fuel transfer, but it turns out it's the alt key. So, okay, how are we gonna do this? So we need to, let's do these top guys first. And I think what I'll do is I'll drain the center guy. And then we can fix it later. So basically I clicked the center guy and then I clicked out, and you can see it's now refueling all those 4 tanks. And then we'll basically have to repeat the same process with the bottom 4 tanks. And at this point here, refueling is going to take quite a while, so I'm going again. We're just gonna watch it and fast forward. Shocking, I know. This mission's gonna be a lot of that. However, we are also getting really long on our run length. In fact, it's at like 50 minutes right now, unless I go back and edit out more. But basically, I think we're gonna call this a wrap for this episode, since it seems like a pretty good place to stop. And we will finish out the rest of this mission in part 2. So, until then, ta-ta!